Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're doing an episode of Check This Out, where I'm going to try to get TV Fish into a band he's never really gotten into before. So today we're going to be checking out God Hates Us All by Slayer. Alright, so Slayer's a band that I've loved for many years. This album is probably my favorite album. It's hard to choose sometimes, but I know TV Fish has listened to some Slayer here and there, but I also know that he didn't really like Slayer for a while. And I don't know if they kind of come around on him a bit, but I think this is the album that's going to get him in there, and I'm hoping that he likes it.
Yeah, I've really struggled. Over the years, I've struggled a lot to get into this band for a while, and I've heard some songs here and there. Enjoy generally what I've heard, but overall, it's still not very explored for me. I haven't really put on many albums, it's just kind of just a few songs, so putting on this entire album with focus is going to be brand new for me.
Exactly. And this album, it's got some history to it. There's some controversy with the album art and the lyrics. It was released on 9/11, the 9/11, so there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world at that time. It's a big album. It's an iconic album. It definitely needs to be, go through your ear holes at least once in its entirety. So we're going to do that right now. We'll be back in a second to give you guys our impressions. Stay put. And we're back. We just listened to God Hates Us All in its entirety. TV Fish, you might as well take it.
Alright, so this album was pretty good, at least based on my first impression. Now, my highest rated song is track number 2, Disciple. It's the only song from this album that I know I've heard before.
Okay.
Like, that's the only one that actually sounded familiar, and I love this song. Just the way he screams, God hates us all, is amazing. I love that so much. One thing I noticed about this album that was really interesting is how kind of not Slayer it sounds, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
And I remember you've told me, before that this band kind of tried to adapt their sound to whatever was kind of modern at the time throughout their career. And I was kind of thinking about that listening to this album, that there's a lot of very nu metal-esque grooves going on in this album. And I love that because not only does it kind of subvert the expectation of, typical Slayer, it just strengthens it. Because you do have songs that sound like classic Slayer. A good example is the last track, Payback. If you like classic Slayer, that's like an example of that on this album. But, songs like, honestly, like any of them. Because I kept finding myself writing the same note, oh, this groove's sick, no, this groove's sick, no, this one's sick, over and over and over. So that's just a testament to how awesome the grooves are on this album. They're not always just super fast, whatever, blast beat in your face. There's a lot more slower, more broken up beats going on, and I like that. And I like the experimentation this band had up with this album, and I just think it's really interesting how there's a bunch of different things going on.
So with that said, how did you feel about songs like Payback or like Warzone that do have more of the kind of a thrashy feel to it? And I do agree that they did definitely kind of stem and borrow from nu metal and incorporate their sound into that genre with this album. They definitely did that. But certain songs, like you mentioned, still had those roots there. But how did you feel about those songs?
Well, Payback was good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was good. But I feel like it's the last song, so you've been through so much already, I feel like that's the kind of song that if it's going to grow on me, it's totally going to do that throughout the week. Like, on a first listen, you only get as much as you can, right? Especially if you're totally alien to an album, then, not everything is going to instantly gel with you.
Right.
However, Warzone did. I loved that song. That song, I love the rage in this riff. It feels like a Warzone. That's an appropriate title for this track. I love the ending. The kick and the toms are just so booming and meaty.
The mix is really nice.
I love the mix of them. Very well done in that sense. As for lower rated tracks, I mean, Darkness of Christ is the intro track. It is what it is. Nothing exceptional as far as an intro track goes.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. I feel like it does set up for Disciple pretty well. So I am looking forward to, hearing that more kind of in tandem with each other.
Before we move on, I want to make a comment about Darkness of Christ, because when you listen to it, I should speak on behalf of myself. When I listen to it, it almost makes me angry. It pisses me off because of the way it's recorded and the way it's presented. The volume's fading in and out. There's all kinds of noises going on. There's weird siren things going on in the background. Like, it's
also cutting out.
It cuts in and out. It's got some weird skipping kind of things happening. It's fucking annoying, okay? And it pisses me off. But I think it's meant to do that. I think that's the exact purpose of the song, is to get you kind of going, what the fuck is this? Why is it doing that? And like, it gets you in kind of a bad mood. But then then the album starts, it kicks in, and that rage that you've just built up, if you got a temper like I do, I guess, the rage you just built up is now being unleashed through all these songs. And you feel it. It's visceral.
Who would have thought that an intro track would piss you off that much?
I mean, I've never really thought about it before, but listening to it here, taking notes and stuff, I was like, you know what? There's actually a purpose to this. And I think I figured out what it is. And I think that's what it is.
It is a very uncomfortable sounding song, which is totally fitting for just how angry this album is, you know? And I think that it's funny to consider, you know, this album came out at a time where if you're going to listen to music, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to do it on like a Discman, Walkman, what have you.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear that skipping and think there's something wrong with your music player.
That's true.
So I guess that's a fair reason to be pissed off if you think there's something wrong, but it's just the band doing that themselves. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
So that's reasonable. As for, you know, the actual body of the album, the lowest track, at least in terms of rating, was Bloodline, which is interesting because that song does something super different for this band, because you kind of hear a bit of a melody in Tom Araya's voice in the chorus, which is not something you normally hear from him.
Not normally, no. From time to time, but that was a single. They put out a video for that song. It was a single for this album. And yeah, Tom sings. I guess you can call it that, right?
Yeah,
it's not just the typical yelling / screaming he does throughout most of his other songs.
I really appreciate that is a thing. Like the fact that he did that, it just adds some more interesting aspects to this album. Did I love it on first listen? No. But I'm sure, like, that's why we do the things the way we do on our channel, because over the week, that could become one of my favorite songs. I got no idea.
Yeah, that is a song that grew on me. Back when I first listened to this album, it was one of my probably lower songs. But over the years, it started to grow on me, and like now I love that song. It's great.
As for other high-rated tracks, I really liked New Faith. I really liked Cast Down. Yeah, New Faith, Cast Down, and Warzone are tied for second highest rated, and the highest rated for me was Disciple. So overall, I did enjoy this album, and I am looking forward to listening to it over the week. I think it's going to be really fun, because it's the kind of album that you just put on and just groove to. At least that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, it's got energy, it's got cool lyrics. Like, once you start paying attention to the lyrics, and they're just badass. And one of my favorite things about it is that they believe in God, but they defy him anyway. And to me, that's like one of the most badass things you can write about. Like, basically, like, I know you're there, but fuck you, right? That's the ultimate, like, badassery of lyric writing, in my opinion. Before I close out the video, just name a couple highlight tracks for me, because I haven't really done that yet. Disciples, also a highlight track. Cast Down, Threshold, Exile, Payback, Warzone. Seven Faces is really good. The album is just full of bangers to me, and I feel like a lot of these songs will grow on you. You'll start finding stuff that stands out at you more and more and more throughout the week. But unless you have anything else to say,
that's about it for me.
That's about it for this, I guess, first impressions video. So leave your thoughts down below. Let us know what you guys think of this band. Are you guys Slayer fans? We know a lot of you guys love Slayer. They're a popular metal band, obviously. Is this your favorite album? Let us know down below what your favorite album is. That's it for this video. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Keep those heads banging.